Why did the gorilla bring a ladder to the party?
Why?
Because it heard drinks from the house. Top of the house.
No, I got it. It was just bad.
Okay. What kind of stuff? Do you like gorilla stuff?
Not particularly.
Oh, fuck. Okay. It's not gonna be good.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Osasu's Corner. Today, I have a very, very special guest with me. So I'll let her introduce herself.
Oh my God. I don't like when people say introduce yourself because
No,
I never
I
know
don't.
what to say.
I don't want to spoil people's names, so that's why I say introduce yourself. So
Oh, I see. Wisdom,
yeah,
wisdom, wisdom.
exactly,
Okay,
exactly.
hi. Hi everyone. My name is Onyinyechukwu Monique Ibekwe.
Okay,
Yeah. Is there any more things to do?
there's
And
more now.
I think
There's more.
okay. I'm I'm a project manager. I'm Osa's virtual friend. Virtual friend because I've never met Osas before, but I mean he's been amazing. Like I haven't met him physically, so yes, that's why I said I'm Osa's virtual friend. Hopefully we cross that virtual friendship and we get to real life friendship. But we're real life friends, Abby.
Yes, no,
What
real
am
life
I
friends,
saying?
real life, real life.
Okay, yes. So yes, you guys know my name now, and I'm so glad to be here on Osasu's Corner.
Okay, thank you. So what were you up to this week? What did you do this week?
This week was very uneventful, but I think uneventful can be good. It was just normal waking up, complaining about the economy and going to work so that the economy doesn't kill you more than it already is. So I think it was just work for me. And okay, a bit of planning. My nephew is having his matriculation sometime next week. So a bit
Okay,
of the getting the list of people that are coming, food, drinks, and all of that. Yeah.
that's nice.
I
That's
think
nice.
that's it.
You didn't mention the podcast though. You can mention it now.
Okay, guys, I have a podcast, Inside News
Yes,
Head. Yes,
yes.
I do have a podcast.
Every
Airs every
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yes.
Yes, every Saturday, 9 a.m. every Saturday.
It's a very amazing podcast, guys. You guys should listen to it. It's everywhere.
So,
Spotify, Apple
oh,
Podcast, everywhere.
thank you. Thank you, Osad. Thank you.
Yes.
How was your own week? What did you get up to this week?
This week actually I'm on leave from work, so
Ah,
yes. This week has been
I'm
very chilled.
jealous.
I know. This week has been very chilled. I'm waking up when I want, just doing what I want, basically. I'm just happy.
I love it. I love it for you.
Thank you, thank you. Yeah,
Okay.
so we're going to talk about starting a podcast, basically, on introduction to podcasting, whatever I like to call it. But before we start, and we have one
Mm-hmm.
issue to solve. So some of my
Okay.
listeners, I give them a Google form to send in their issues. So they need our help
Ah,
to 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 give them expert tips on how to
I'm
solve
gonna
them.
give a bad advice. I can feel it.
No, I'm sure you have. I'm sure you will give good advice. I'm sure.
Okay, let's hear it. Let's hear what this person has
Okay.
to say.
Just one. This
Okay.
person calls himself Ragnar Lothbrok. I think that's a Vikings character. Have you watched Vikings?
Yes, I have.
Okay, I
Yes.
think that's a Vikings character. And the person's issue is I'm in love with my brother's babe. What do I do
Ah,
about this?
ah,
Please start, because me, I don't know. I don't know where to start from that one.
how did he get to the point of falling in love with his brother's babe, first of all? Ah,
Actually, that's an important question.
ah, ah. No, because wait, before you say you are in love with someone, it goes like through different stages,
Yeah,
yeah?
yeah, I get. You first like the person,
You just like the
then
person. then I don't know, maybe probably talk to the person for a couple because you can't just. I mean, if he said he's having a crush on his brother's babe, I'll get it, right? I mean, you can just see someone and crush on them. Before you say you're in love with your brother, that's deep. Oh.
Very deep.
This
So please
person should
help.
come for prayer and counseling. Okay.
I don't know for the person.
uh prayer. I'm taking him to my pastor for deliverance because at this point, what? Okay, now on a more serious note, there are certain things that we should not even let get to a certain point, right? So it's okay for your brother to like bring a babe back home and you're like, this baby's fine, oh, she's set, do you get?
Yeah, yeah.
And it's okay for you. Probably maybe they started talking, oh, my brother's babe. And then he started, this girl has sense. Because that's the way these things used to start. But I also think that he puts himself in a very awkward position
Yes.
because you're talking about your brother. I mean, you don't even fall in love with your guy's babe. This way you're not talking
Exactly.
about your brother.
Exactly. Why are
He
you
has to
getting
fall
so
out though.
close to your brother's babe? I mean, first of all,
Do you get
shouldn't.
why are you getting so close to your brother's babe? Why are you in that position where you have to even start feeling funny things towards her? He has to fall out. I don't know how we're going to help him fall out though, but the way he fell in, he should come outside. There's no that road is blocked. My
No,
friend, please.
he has to push it inside his body.
He
Just find a way to just avoid it. Because he's not, he can't walk.
he if he okay, so I think one of the first things, because I believe that constant communication has a way of like breeding affection. So if he's always in touch with her, if he's texting her all the time, maybe she would even be answering him as, but oh, this is my brother's and my boyfriend's brother. I'm being nice and everything. And the guy is there catching feelings. So if he's the type that, oh, I'm just calling to check up, stop checking up on her.
Why are you
Stop
calling to check
calling.
up on your brother's babe? Sef? Don't be
Thank you.
calling people.
Oh. People are
Be
very
calling
corny.
people.
And what is your aim when you were doing all these backyard deals? What were you thinking? What? No, I think first of all, he has to cut communication with her. He has to stop talking to her if he wants to help himself. Because when his brother finds out, I'm using when because he will find out if he
Eventually, we'll find
continues
out.
going. Yes, when he finds out, it's not going to be funny, and you definitely do not want to lose your brother's trust over something like that. Of all the babes that are moving around in this world, is that particular one that your brother brought home that you want? Something is, in fact, I think there's a spirit of covetousness in him, in a way, because of all the things. I mean, he probably meets a lot of women all the time. This is me just assuming, but even if you're not, like you're going to school, you know people. Why is it that particular one that you now like? Even if you say, oh, you and your brother have the same taste in women, right? There has to be someone else who is almost the same way. It doesn't have to be that
Exactly.
particular person. It doesn't have to be. So, bros, see, at this point, cause communication. Don't see her unless you cannot help it. Like, unless it's absolutely necessary. Don't say, oh, let's hang out. Even if your brother calls you, let's give an excuse. Run for your life. It's not worth it. Trust me, it is not worth it. It's not worth it. Losing your brother's trust and having issues with your brother now, it's not worth it. So fall out, my dear. That's all I can say. Fall out.
Yeah, you've heard of Fallout, please. The way you feel in Fallout.
The way you fell, please be falling out.
That's
Fall
it's too
out.
deep. I don't know. I don't know how to help you. You just have to hide it. Just find a way to push it inside your soul and just avoid it. Avoid her, basically.
Maybe you should find his own girlfriend.
Abiyo, another solution. Another
Hmm.
solution.
Find your own
Okay,
girlfriend, and maybe you won't be looking at somebody else's own.
that's true. Exactly. If you find your girlfriend, you have time to be calling your brother's babe, checking on her, which is
Mm-hmm.
madness, by
Saying
the
how
way.
are you? Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Okay. Um. So wait, do people call you Monique or Onye? I want to know.
Okay, I think it depends on what their tongues can carry.
I think
So for
I can't pronounce this Onye name. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it well now. I don't know, but
why?
I've
And it's
never.
a very common name. I feel like it's one of it's a very common Igbo name. Onye. In fact, I
Yeah,
have some
but
of my Yoruba friends. and aunties that they can't pronounce, so they just call me Oyin.
That one is
They
better.
just give me their own Yoruba name, Oyin. I have people calling me a lot of different things. So I'm like, oh, if you can't stress, call me Monique. That's my name as well. So
I think Monique is better. For me, I think I'll prefer Monique. I think I'll prefer Monique.
anyway you like to call me, I'll answer.
No
Both
problem.
are my names. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, Monique. So what
Mhm.
inspired you to start your podcast, Inside Mo's Head? Which is Inside Monique's Head, actually. So that's why I
Yes,
prefer
inside
Monique,
Monique's head.
if you think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, fair. I mean, I couldn't start telling people inside Onye's head, like you're not able to pronounce it. So like I needed something short
Yes.
that people can easily, yeah,
That's why
say.
Monique is
So
better.
you're making the case for the name Monique.
I'm making a case.
We are
I'm making a very
Nigerians,
good
we are
case.
Africans. We should
Okay.
be in touch with our heritage. Our names are powerful. Our names carry meanings, you know? So
Fair
that's why
enough. Fair
Onye is
enough.
better. Hmm. Okay, so what
Inspire you
inspired
to
me
start. Yeah.
to start a podcast? Honestly, I wish I could have a very good inspired to perspire
Don't worry. Just
thing
give
you
us the
might have
one. Give
going
us the
on.
one that actually happened.
Okay, but real life, nothing. I didn't want to start a podcast. So I have a group of friends. There's three of us. We've been friends since uni days. So we have this group chats where we just go like on birding, tell each other what's going on with our lives. Every week we have Friday catch-ups from 7 p.m. You're not going to catch me on a call because I'll be on a call with them. So one day we were just talking and we're like, oh guys, it would be so nice for us to have something we share together. So the first thing was my friend was like, oh, let's start a business together. And the businesses they were talking, because we're in three different cities. I'm in Lagos, one is in Port Harcourt, one is in Asaba right now. So like, oh, it would be so nice, but how are we going to handle a business from three different places? Like, what's that going to look like? What's going to be the location of the business? Or are we talking just maybe an online business or something? After a while, that crashed. And one of my friends Emmanuel came up with, oh, we can start a podcast together. Right. And like, let's have a podcast. Maybe it will air once in 2 weeks or once in a month, right? Like where we just go and rant and have a good time. And I remember at that time, I was just like, okay, if we're starting a podcast together, that there's no way, I don't know how it works because I've never done anything with podcasting. So I said, I don't know how podcast works. So how are we going to start podcasts from three different locations? How is that going to work? And I remember them saying, oh, Onye, we're giving you the assignment, go and do the research. Every other person is doing the research, but you also do the research, find out, figure out how we can do a podcast from three different places, right? And I said, okay. And that was how I started the research. I looked at the
Okay.
first app and I'm like, I don't know. I don't know, like, I think 3 apps. I'm like, guys, I don't understand. This is stressing me. Why do we have to start a podcast? And mind you, it's so funny how I've always been the one saying there's lots of podcasts going on right now. It's like a thing, or everybody's starting a YouTube channel. And I never saw myself as that girl that's going to be doing hi guys. So I was kind of kicking against it, but my friends were like, when you start, let's look for a way. And so I remember downloading, I think, Spotify for podcasters.
Yeah,
And
that name is too long, by the way. I don't know why. Too long. But
it's too
continue.
long. Yes,
It's
Anchor
too
was
long.
easier. So I was like, okay, let's see what's going to happen. Let me play around with this. And I remember trying to figure out how we can do the podcast together. And I said, oh, why not figure out how you can do the podcast by yourself first off, right? So I tapped on record and I recorded my first episode. It was a one take thing, right? So after recording it, I remember sharing it with my friends, like, oh guys, I recorded this episode though. See the way it's coming out. These are the things I've learned about this app. And I also think I can invite you guys and the three of us can be on the same. And the moment they listened to it, my friends were like, oh, you're going to have to publish this. I said, what do you guys mean? It's not that serious. I mean, we're still learning. He said, no, 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 no. This doesn't sound bad at all. When you start your own podcast, I mean, we can have our podcast, but we also think you can have your podcast and our podcast at the same time. And I remember they kept pushing, kept pushing. And then I'm like, okay, so what's going to be the name of my podcast? Because we had already decided on the name of the podcast we're supposed to have as a group. And I said, what's going to be the name of my podcast? I thought about it. And the next thing, like when you're sharing what's on your mind, inside Mo's head just popped out. Said, oh, okay, things are coming together. Yeah, okay. And my friends are like, okay, so we need a cover art. Like it was in one day, published the podcast, figured out a way to publish it on Apple. And I'm like, what? This is not happening. And I didn't tell anybody about it, just my friends, just the both of them knew because I was feeling so self-conscious, right? Like I was like, this is not me. Who wants to hear what I have to say? So
I get.
that's the way Inside Mo's head started, actually. Nothing glamorous or like nothing, oh, I thought about it, I planned it, I wrote things down. No, nothing like that. So that's how Inside Mo's head came to be. And it's been 10 weeks now, by the way. We're on our 10th episode.
Wow, 10 episodes. That's very good.
Yeah.
Very good. You say
Thank you.
before I ask the question, you say you don't have a very inspiring story, but the story is very inspiring. You say you recorded it in one day and you published it that same day, right? And
Yes,
you
I
got the
did.
cover art. So yeah, I mean it's very good. Very good. Very inspiring. Very inspiring.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. So in that process of publishing, recording, what was like the biggest challenge you faced throughout?
Okay, so I tend to be a perfectionist. I think that if I planned on starting a podcast, chances are that I will not start a podcast, right?
Okay.
Because I know myself. I would plan to have a good mic, probably even start thinking, oh,
Okay,
maybe I
you want to
should
buy
do like
everything
a
first.
yes. I want to buy everything. And somewhere in my mind, I might even be like, oh, yeah, if you're already starting, let's do the video part of it. Let's get a ring light. Let's do this. Let's do that. Let's create. And it would take me 10 years. I'm not even kidding because I planned for so long. I'm someone that I like every T crossed and every. So I think my biggest challenge starting was the fact that I wasn't sure if the audio was going to be clear, right?
Okay.
Because I always knew that, oh, if you want to do stuff like this, you have a mic. But I had no mic. It was just my phone, right? So I think that was one of the issues I faced. And also trying to publish it on Apple. I didn't have a clue about that. And I didn't know who to ask. I mean, if I had met you before I started, I probably would have asked you, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
Saz, how did you do this? How do I? So figuring everything out by myself was hard because my friends now, they were just cheering me on and pushing, but they were not going to put in the works like help or how do you publish it? Do you get? It was not
Yeah.
more like, we believe in you. Go and do great things. But we believe in you, God, do great things. It's not going to help you figure out how to do all of these things, right? It's not going to help you because that was my first time. Oh, what is RSS feed? How do you get? So
Yes,
figuring
I
all
remember.
those things out. How do you put it on Apple? How do you do this? That was the hardest thing for me. I think not having any equipment to start with, and also having to learn the ropes of actually publishing it, like where people can stream it. That was the two hardest things about starting a pod. Yeah, I'll say so. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
so. Yeah.
I think I have very similar challenge too, because at first you want to have, okay, let me go and buy mic, let me go and buy this.
Uh-huh.
But
Uh-huh.
I think I saw a post on Instagram where I think the guy was like, if you keep postponing it, you will never start. If you keep
Yeah.
wait for it to be perfect, you will never do it. So I
Yeah.
just started. Me too. I started on my phone with the same
Mm.
Spotify for podcasters app, and here
Yeah.
we are. I'm trying different things also. I'm trying Zoom. I'm trying different applications to see which one works.
Yeah.
So that's it.
just so that Osasu Clan will get better. And I know it gets better with every episode that you release.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It gets better. I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, thank you. Also, I'm also proud of it too. 10 episodes is not easy. We've already done 10. I think this should be the fifth. I'll be here, fifth of my own. But we'll
Yeah,
see.
because yours is
It's every 2
every
weeks.
fortnight. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Yes. I think that's
Because I can the editing and all that. I need time to do everything. That's why I'm giving myself 2 weeks.
yeah, 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 definitely. So for you, what do you think? Okay, you're the one that's supposed to be asking me this question, but
No,
I
go
want to
ahead,
ask
go
you
ahead,
something.
go ahead.
Okay, so for you, starting a podcast, did you like have it in mind before, like weeks or months before that? Oh, Osasu, you're going to have a podcast, and this is what I'm going to do. Did you carve out like a niche? This is where I'm going towards. Like, is this something you planned, or how did your own podcast story come about?
Okay, so did I plan it ahead? Yes. I actually started one in 2020,
Okay,
COVID. But I didn't release any episode. I didn't record anything. I just I just created the account and I did like the
okay,
trailer, but I didn't publish anything. So
okay.
now, so between that period and like this year, I've become a very big fan of podcasts. I listen to a lot
Mm,
of podcasts. So like let me try my own. Let me do my own, see what happens. I created the
mm-hmm.
same account again, edited it, did the cover art. At first, I was thinking, should I do a sport podcast because I love sports.
Yeah.
But I didn't have like a. I feel like if I want to do a sport podcast, I would have to have a permanent co-host. Because it can't just be me.
Okay.
I can't just
Yeah,
invite people
yeah.
every time. Yeah. So I
That
said, let
makes
me do like
sense.
a society type thing to get. So I
Yeah.
created it, did the first episode with my friend, and every week, every day, every week, I take week by week. I don't know who I'm going to bring next after you, but when it's like the 2 days close to, I'll find someone. So it's week by week, day by day. I don't know. That's what I'm doing.
Okay, that sounds nice. I mean, I think one of the most important thing about podcasting is that if you take it too seriously, you're going to get burnt out like easily. So I think, is to have fun with it as well.
Yeah.
To not, because do you remember me talking to you about, I can't remember the day I was telling you that, oh, I don't feel like my podcast is good enough and everything. And you said something very important. You said, um, something towards progress, not perfection, something along that line. Like, oh,
Yes.
you were listening to a podcast that we all
Yeah.
know, and then they still
Yes.
had issues with sound and
Yes.
everything.
I
So
remember.
if
I remember.
yeah, so that helped a lot. Like, not bringing the perfect part of us to, like, that perfectionist side of us to this thing. It will
Exactly.
just ruin it and fast, just drain the happiness out of it. And I think so. Since you've been doing this podcasting, yeah. Have you like have you woken up any day and you're like, oh, Osasu, I don't know what I'm doing now.
See, I don't know what I'm doing at any point in time.
Yeah.
That's what I know. I don't know what I'm doing at any point in time. I'm just trying things. I don't know.
I love
I don't know.
it.
I don't know. Like I don't. As some, as you do it, what I found out, as you do it, you get better. So
Yeah,
that is it. As you drop more
definitely.
episodes, you notice more things, you gain more experience. Blah blah blah. Just keep doing things.
Definitely.
Just keep doing stuff, and you just get
Just
better.
keep doing
Yeah.
just keep doing stuff.
Just keep doing stuff.
Yeah.
The first episode I dropped,
Mm-hmm.
there were a lot of sound issues. There were a lot of sound issues with that one. So I took note. People gave me critics. I took note of it. Tried to change some things,
Yeah.
basically. So
Yeah.
on that note, I want to ask you, how do you handle when people give you critics on your podcast now, for example? How do you
Oh,
react?
I thrive on it because I'm
Okay.
always even asking for it.
From everybody.
Um,
Friends, no friends.
Yes, yes. And my
Okay.
friends are very brutal. They're they are
Uh,
brutally honest.
okay.
So I can't remember the episode I published, and my friends came and they were like, "Oh yeah, you don't sound like yourself. You don't sound. This episode doesn't sound like you. The voice sounds somehow. The sound is not great. Do you get?" And
Yeah.
I went back and I listened to, because sometimes after publishing a pod, I don't like to listen.
Me too. I don't
I
listen. Once
feel
it,
someone
I
listening to
I
my
hate it.
voice.
I hate it. Once it's gone, it's gone. Because I've listened to it like a million times before it goes live. So when it's
Yeah.
live, I'm not listening to it again at all.
I, I went back to listen to it and I said, "Oh, okay, I get what you guys are saying." And I I think if I'm not open to criticism, I'm not going to grow. I'm not going to do better.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think the humility that I started with, like I actually don't know what I'm doing, no, is still something that I still have with me. Knowing that, oh yeah, you don't know what. So the next episode that's supposed to drop today is on imposter syndrome, and how I
Okay.
always feel like I don't even know what I'm doing. I feel like a fraud. Somebody's probably just going to come out and say, "This girl, which podcast? What is this nonsense you're doing? For crying out loud!" So I'm always expecting that. But the way my mind works is my mind works. So I can see something that is negative, and my mind has a way of turning it into something positive. I mean, I feel like that's one good thing my mind does for me. So as you're criticizing, I'm like, I'm not even seeing it as a place from a place of, oh, you probably don't like me. I'm seeing it from a place that you are invested in this podcast, right? And you want this podcast to get better. That's why you saw something that isn't so great and you decided to talk to me about it, right? And I think one of the things I've also learned about myself is that you can't, when you tell me, oh, when you this thing, you just fucked up, I appreciate more than someone who is just hyping me up and I don't feel hyped on the inside. Do you get?
Okay, I get.
Because we have certain people that if you like do rubbish, they'll come out and tell you, "Oh, that was great." They will never be honest with you. So I'm really glad when I hear people say, "Oh, when you this could be better. When you did this is your let's say maybe your intro is not good enough. I think you should change your intro. Your this is not good enough." It works better for me than always just heaping praises. "Oh, I enjoyed that." Okay, you enjoyed it. Did you not see that when it got to like the 12th minute, you could not hear me better? Why? So why are you pretending? And I'm sure when you were listening to it, you probably said to you, "What's this girl? Can't this girl fix her sound?" Right. So I think I thrive on that. I think it's important for everybody, anybody who's creating anything. Because the moment you shut that out, you become
Yeah, you
I
stop
too
improving.
know. Yes. And you stop improving. And I keep telling people I want the podcast to become like a community, a family. Feel free if you see that your family is not doing well, you want to make sure that it gets better, right? So that's basically the way I feel about criticism.
Okay. So you've not gotten anyone that's like, should I say harsh now or just extremely negative?
Uh, honestly, no.
Okay.
Honestly, no. Most times now, I'm there, because we're still a small podcast, so people probably, when things get bigger, that's when people always want to have something bad to say about it, try to put you down. But now, I think they're like, "Oh, this girl is just starting up. Let's be helping her life. let's let's be helping her." So I haven't gotten any that is like bad. Bad is usually, "Oh, Onye, I think if you do this way, it'll be better." And I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful because, please, my mental health, I don't think I'm ready for those very harsh and crazy ones. So yeah.
Okay, me too. I don't think I've gotten any harsh one. Me too, I like criticisms too. So if you're listening and you feel something can be better, just tell me. So
Yeah.
if something I can change now, I'll tell you, oh yeah, I've changed it. If something I can't change now, I'll say, oh yeah, I'm working on it. So
Yeah.
anyone, just message me. If you see me in person, tell me, no problem.
Yes, so please go and follow him on Instagram so that if he does anyhow on this show, you enter his DM sharp sharp.
Please mention my DMs, please. Kindness, I beg. Beg. Um, how do you choose to measure the success of your podcast? Is it just number of people listening, or is there satisfaction you derive from the podcast, from creating it?
Hmm. Okay, so I think for one of the things I've been telling myself, because it's very easy to start looking at numbers and become very and put
Yeah,
yourself under pressure, right? So success for me is with every episode that I publish, even if it's one person that listens and can relate to what I've said. And so when I get things like, oh, when you're spying on me, like something you said was very accurate about me, like
yes,
stuff like that. The fact that is relatable to someone, because the podcast is called Inside Mo's Head. So these are these thoughts that go through my head. To know that I'm not alone in this thought process, that's enough success for me. And I remember sometime like a few weeks ago, of course you see me like post the numbers or we're doing this. It got to a point I told myself, Onye, you did not start this for the numbers. You started this for just say what's on your mind, right? So I told myself, no more looking at the numbers, no more caring about the numbers. After publishing, if one person can relate, then that's enough success, honestly. I think that's where I'm at, like my mind's at right now.
okay. I mean, so I'm at a very similar place. I think initially I was looking at the numbers, impression. There are a lot of
Mm.
numbers that analytics page. There's impressions, there's audience
Yeah,
size, there's. I think as long as someone tells me they like it, I'm
yeah,
okay. It
yeah,
encourages me to publish more. So one person tells me
yeah,
they like it, I'm fine. Like there's an episode I did
exactly.
on losing weight. A lot of people
Oh,
were
I
like,
loved that episode.
people were like, yeah, you're talking to me. Oh, I need to improve. So that kind of thing gives me
Yeah,
ginger to just to
I
continue
loved that
publishing.
episode.
That's my favorite episode so far of my
I
podcast. Yeah,
I think that's my favorite episode
me
of the
too.
podcast of Osasu's podcast as Corner as well.
Yeah,
I really enjoyed because I do like fitness. I mean I run every morning,
every
every
morning.
5:30. Yes. I run every morning. So hearing him say certain things about food as well, because some people think, oh, it's all about the exercise. Guys, I'm not going to spill. If you've not listened to that episode, please go back
Go and listen.
and
Episode
listen to that
three.
episode.
Episode three.
Episode
Yes.
3, very rich and wonderful episode. And Toby, if you're listening to this episode, please, this is 2024 is the year you fall in love in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Oh, amen. I was send this particular clip to him. Amen. Oh yeah, I want to get your take on something
Oh,
else. So when you publish and you share to your friends, I'm
yeah.
sure some of them also help you share it, right?
Yes, they do.
So how
Yes,
do you
yes,
feel
yes.
when they don't reshare it? They don't
Hmm.
repost it.
So you know the funniest thing? Two of my best friends have not like I think they've shared just once. Like I've seen them reshare, like post it just once.
Okay.
And random people that are not even super close to me are the ones that always carry it on their heads, right? But the funny thing is that I've come to know that this podcast wouldn't have even started without my two best friends in the first place, right? And they listen every week and then they come to the like my group, like our group chat, and then they are like, Onye, today was great. So I don't ever get upset with them for not life is lifing, guy. And the funny thing is that in your mind right now, you might be like, oh, I'm listening. Let me repost this. And in the next minute, something else takes your attention and you don't. Like, it doesn't even, I don't see it as coming from a place of I don't want to. Because I know like the support, the mental, emotional support that they also give to me to be able to carry on. And I weigh my options. I'm someone that I weigh you, like I weigh the things you do for me on a scale. So like for me, it's the 80-20 rule that I live by. If I've got the 80, the 20 can go. Like I can deal with not having the 20. Right. So I feel
Okay.
like getting upset with them about not reposting or something is me having all the 80 and still fixating on the 20 that I don't have. Right. So
That's very
again,
nice. So that's very nice. I'm gonna take that, apply it to my own life.
it's
80-20. Okay.
because that's what most of us do. You have 80, but every time you're fixating on that particular 20 that and you're not even looking at 80 is so big. Why do I want the tiny 20? And the funniest thing is that these people, they might, even as they are not reposting and everything, they are talking to their other friends that are not my
Yes.
friends.
I know
And they're saying,
someone
oh,
like
do
that.
you know?
It's always
Yes,
telling
exactly.
people, do you know this guy's podcast? But you might not reach it, but you're still at 5K
Exactly.
in 2 hours. So
Exactly. So if we
yeah.
become myopic and we're like, oh, they're not reposting it on their stories and you miss out on a lot. You start getting resentful. Nah, there's no space for that. There's no room for that. So basically, that's how I feel. I mean, when I see you repost, I'm like, oh, thank you. This is like, this means a lot to me and everything. But also, if you don't, in fact, I know some people that don't listen. So I have siblings, and I can tell you that some of my siblings don't listen to my podcast. Now,
Me
my,
too. Me too.
exactly. So now we're going to be like, you guys don't even listen to my podcast. Talk more of reposting. No, because we have the 80 with them, and the 20 we're not having is okay. It's all right. We can let go of it. So that's the way I feel about it. And also I feel like when you started the podcast, you didn't start it for your friends.
Yes,
You
that's
started it
something
for
I
a
realized
stranger
this last two
that
weeks.
doesn't even know you.
Yeah.
Exactly. Because
I
you can
started for
imagine where that that episode with Toby got to. Because I was listening to it and my sister-in-law was in the house with me and we're listening to it together. And certain things that
okay.
she would laugh, right? She would laugh because she's been on her weight loss journey for as long as I can remember. She's only, I want to lose weight. I'm, oh yeah, put in the work. No. Right. So listening to that also like helped her. She's like, oh, I need to start watching what I eat and everything. And she's like, oh, what's the name of that podcast? Do you get? Now, this is
Yeah.
something you will never know. We don't have control of how far this podcast could go, right? All we always just show up. Doesn't matter who's sharing or who's not sharing. Someone can randomly from Ivory Coast stumble upon your podcast and is listening and telling people about it. So I'm not really that person. Oh, you did not share. Nah, it's not my. It's really not. It doesn't affect me in any way, honestly.
Yeah.
No, yeah.
I think it's very true. Very true. I think last week I realized that I did not start this podcast for my friends. So if you
Right.
don't listen, it's fine. Start it for
Mhm.
strangers, random people. Just
Mhm.
you're scrolling on Spotify, on Instagram, you see it and you like it. So that is who I really made
Mhm.
it for. So even if my
Exactly.
brother doesn't listen, if my friend don't listen, it's fine. I hope you listen, but if you don't,
Yeah.
either way, it's still good. I'm not going to be like, "Ah, guy, you didn't listen, leave me alone." So that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's vibes. It's vibes.
It's vibes. Oh. Mhm. Mhm.
Okay, so
True.
soon as you have 10 episodes now, you're very
Yeah.
experienced in this
Ah,
podcasting. You're very experienced. I don't know, see, you're very experienced. I don't know why you don't accept it. You're, you're very experienced now. No, how many people can say they have 10 episodes on that podcast every
uh,
week, every Saturday? Come on now. It's not easy. It's not
okay,
easy.
I'll take my flowers now. I'll take my
Exactly,
flowers
take
now.
it. It's not easy. So if you had that let's say you knew someone that wanted to start podcast as well. So what like advice would you give them?
Okay. I think I would tell the person there is no manual for this thing. Don't try to copy someone else's way. What works for someone else might not work for you. And if you want to start a podcast, it's okay if you don't even have a niche. right? It's okay if you're not saying, oh, I'm going into sports, I'm going into entertainment, I'm going into fashion. It's okay for the first few weeks. Try your hands at whatever it is that comes to you. You figure it out as you go. You learn on the job. Don't think you want to be very good at it before you start publishing. Say the nonsense you want to say and publish the nonsense like that. If you need to turn your phone off for 2 weeks after publishing, do it. But
Oh
don't delete it.
God,
Leave it there.
that first episode. Immediately I dropped it. I turned all my notifications of WhatsApp, Instagram, Twitter. I mean, I posted everything there, but I just disabled all notifications for like that Sunday. But I didn't want to hear anything from anybody. Like, but yeah, you go
So
through that. You go through that.
if that's what you need to do, please go ahead and do it. It's important. It's okay. For me, when I was starting, I remember people telling me, oh, when you script it, make sure you write down like what you want to say, the things you want to do, like script your episode. Now, this might not work for every other person, but I'm just saying this is what works for me. I realized that I've tried scripting twice. Those 2 times I did not feel it. Like I feel like they were my least liked podcasts for me. Right.
Mm.
So yeah, that's how I felt. So I like to press record and speak from my mind. But this may not work for you. You have to figure out what works for you. If scripting is what works for you, by all means, script it. Right. But if you're like me and you just like to speak freely, because I mean, we're talking about what's inside my head, then please go ahead. Nobody's way is the best way. Your own way is your best way for yourself. That's what I'm going to tell for anybody who's starting a podcast. And also, like Osas and I have already said before, please don't wait until you have the mic and whatever. Start with what you have now. The best time to start your podcast was yesterday. The next best time is now. After listening to this episode that Osas is going to publish, and you've always felt like, oh, I should have a podcast, please start. This episode is going to air tomorrow, right? So tomorrow, pick up your phone.
Tomorrow. Is it tomorrow? I know
Oh,
next Sunday. Next Sunday.
next Sunday, yes. So
Yeah.
when you listen, please just go ahead already. Start with what you have. Don't let anybody fool you with all those their big podcast mic. Ugh. Podcast is podcast. So start with what you have and figure out what works for you. Don't try to copy someone else's way. I mean, if someone else's way works for you, fine. But also just be authentic. Figure out what works for you. And have in mind, the most important thing for me about creating a podcast is to have a community of like minds that always like to tune in and hear what you have to say. So community is important. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Thank you. That was excellent advice as usual. Well, let me
You're
add
making me
something.
blush. Yeah.
Okay, another thing. Don't compare yourself to like other podcasts. Like if you look at, let's say I said what I said now. Those
I
guys,
want
they've
to
been
say
doing
you're
it.
preaching.
They've been doing it for 6 years, I think. This is the sixth season.
Right.
So if you're just starting today, you can't compare yourself to someone that is doing something for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
They have more experience
Mm-hmm.
than you, so they should be better than you. You get. So
Mm.
that's on that end. So yeah, take that advice and do what you want to do. You
Take
can
it.
apply it to anywhere in your life, not just podcast. Anything you want
Yeah.
to do.
Yes.
So life, knowledge, whatever. Apply it.
True. True. Thank you for that. Because I mean, I needed that advice as well. Thank you for that, sir.
Thank you. That's what I'm here to do. Advise people.
Oh my god. Oh my god. This has been such a good time. I mean, we could go on and on and on and on.
Yeah, but
Honestly.
unfortunately, we're going to wrap it here.
Yep.
Okay.
I can't wait to invite you on my own show.
No problem. Anytime. Anytime. I'm
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, guys.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. Thank you for coming. Thank you for listening. Don't forget to send in your own dilemmas too. There's the Google form in the episode description. I don't know about
Mm-hmm.
this guy that likes his brother's people. I think we give him some decent advice.
We tried our best.
Also, please subscribe and share the podcast.
Yes,
Also,
please.
subscribe to Inside Mo's Head every Saturday,
Yes, please. Thank
wherever I listen to
you.
podcast. Hey, there's a time
Yeah.
she told me she wakes up at 3 a.m. to record, so I think that is proof that the episode is very good. It's very good. So please,
Sir, please don't go and overblow this one, please.
no,
Before they'll be coming with different expectations.
no,
Is this
you woke up 3 a.m. to record. I mean, it has to come from the Holy Spirit. That is not normal. So please, you guys,
Oh my God.
check our podcast out. Thank you very much.
Thank you guys for
Have a,
listening. Thank
have a
you.
nice day. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye, guys.